children. Here I am with the third chapter of English literature, that is The King's Magic Drum. Here is this illustration about your chapter, which is based on the country of Nigeria, which is located in Western Africa. There are many kingdoms in Africa, but here we are going to talk about Calabar, which is the capital of Cross River State in Nigeria. Ephraim Duke was an ancient king of Calabar. He was a peaceful man and did not like war, but he had a wonderful drum, the property of which was when it was beaten, it always provided plenty of food and drink. And whenever the king wanted any country to have drinks and food with him, the country basically who always declared war against the king, he always used to call the enemies together and beat his drum, get all the nice food, drinks, with all sorts of dishes, fish, fufu, which is an African food, palm oil, chopped, soup, and cooked yams, and plenty of palm wine for everybody. In this way, Ephraim Duke kept all the country quiet and sent his enemy away with full stomachs and in a happy and contented frame of mind. Means, children, in a way, he actually avoided war because he was a peaceful man. There was one drawback of possessing that drum. That unique drum had a drawback. Drawback means it has a negative quality. And the negative quality that it had was that if the owner of the drum walked over any stick on the road or stepped over a fallen tree, all the food would immediately go bad, means stale. Moreover, 300 Egbo men would appear with the sticks and whips and beat the owner of the drum, and all the invited guests were severely beaten by all the Egbo men. Every few months of the king used to issue invitations to all his countrymen, the subjects, to come and have a big feast. Even the wild animals were invited for the feast of the king. For in those days there was no trouble, as they were friendly with man, and when they were all at the feast, they did not kill anyone. All the people and the animals as well were envious of the king's drum. Envious means they were jealous and wanted to possess it. But the king would not part with it. That means the king would not leave the drum for a second so that nobody could even touch it. One morning, Ikwar Edem, the king's wife, took her little daughter to the spring to wash her. As she was covered with all kind of sores on her body, the bad sores called yaws. The tortoise happened to be on the palm tree. While he was cutting, one of the nuts fell down. He was cutting the nuts for his midday meal. And as soon as the nut fell down, just in front of the child, the little girl, seeing the good food, cried for it. As obviously children want to know what a new thing is, and actually they want to have all the good things that they see. So in the similar way, the little girl also wanted that nut which has fallen down from the tree. And seeing the daughter crying, the mother also directly picked up that palm nut and gave it to her daughter. The tortoise saw this and he was a little anxious and actually very angry, but wanted to take benefit of this point. And he went down and asked the woman where his palm nut was. Woman means the mother, the child's mother and the king's wife. She replied that she had given it to the child to eat. Then the tortoise, who was very much into that one chance of getting the king's drum, he thought he should make plenty of palaver. Palaver means unnecessary trouble. He wanted to make an unnecessary fuss out of all this small little thing and force the king to give him his drum. So he said to the mother of the child, I am a poor man and I climbed at the tree to get food for myself and my family. Then you took my palm nut and gave it to your child. I shall tell the whole matter to the king and see that he has what he has to say when he hears that his wife has stolen my food. This, as everyone knows, is a very serious crime according to the native custom. Custom means a traditional way of behaving or doing something which is specific to a particular place, society, or time. So he cried in front of the lady in a way that he is a helpless person. And Ikwar Adam then said to the tortoise, I saw your palm nut lying on the ground, and thinking it had fallen down from the tree, I gave it to my little girl to eat. But I did not steal it, my dear friend. My husband, the king, is a rich man, and if you have any complaint to make against me or my child, I will take you to talk to him. So she took the tortoise to her husband and told him that whatever has happened. The king then asked the tortoise, what would he accept as compensation for the loss of his palm nut? So this was the generosity of the king and the king's wife, that they were actually very soft-spoken to the tortoise and they could not make out that the tortoise is actually playing a game to get that drum. And the tortoise immediately pointed out, as he was actually waiting for this chance, so he pointed out at the king's drum and said that it was the only thing he wanted. He played his game. In order to get rid of the tortoise, king said, very well, take the drum. But he never told the tortoise about the bad thing that would happen to him if he stepped over a fallen tree or walked over a stick on the road. So this was some secret that king did not reveal to the tortoise. And here the game starts, children. The tortoise were very glad at this and carried the drum home in triumph. Triumph means a great achievement he was expecting, and he did. So this was an achievement for him. He went to his wife and said, I am now a rich man and shall do no work. Whenever I want food, I will have to just beat this drum, and food and plenty of drinks will immediately be brought to me. His wife and children were very pleased and happy to hear this, and they asked the tortoise to get food at once as they were all hungry. And as we all know that tortoise was a poor animal. But suddenly he was a rich man because now he had the drum. So he started ordering for the food, and this was the time that what actually tortoise wanted to do. So he ordered for lots of food and he beat the drum and was very happy to have that plenty food in front of him. They all sat and had the great feast. The tortoise did this for a very great 3 days, and everything went all well. All his children got fat and had as much as they wanted to eat. He was therefore very proud of the drum, and in order to display his riches, he called out for a feast, and he invited the king and all the people and animals to come to the feast. When the people received his invitation, they all laughed at him, actually because everyone knew that the tortoise was a poor man. So they said, how come a poor man like him can give a feast, a big feast to everyone? So many of them did not go for the feast also. Only some arrived. But the king, knowing about the drum, came, and the tortoise beat the drum. The food was brought as usual in profusion. Profusion means a large quantity of anything. And all the people sat down and enjoyed their meal very much. They were very astonished that the poor tortoise should be able to entertain so many people, and told all their friends, whoever had said no for the feast, about the great feast and the party, and they also told them that they had never had a better dinner like this. The people who did not go for the dinner were feeling very sorry then, as they heard about all this feast, as a good feast at somebody else's expense was not provided every day, they all thought. After the feast, all the people looked upon the tortoise as one of the richest men in the kingdom. And no one except the king could understand how the poor tortoise could suddenly entertain so lavishly. Lavishly means all luxurious feast to all the people. But they all decided that whenever the next party, the next feast from tortoise side will be given, they all will definitely go and would not refuse. When the tortoise had been in the possession of the drum for a few weeks, he became lazy and did not do any work, and went on to the country and started boasting about his riches. One day, he started home carrying his drum at the back. He did not notice a stick in the path, and here the game begins, children. He walked over the stick, and of course, the juju, the spell, the magical words which were given on the drum was broken at once. But the tortoise did not know about all this, whatever has happened at that time, and eventually he arrived to his house, very tired. He threw the drum in the corner and went to sleep. When he woke up in the morning, the tortoise began to feel hungry, and his wife and children were also calling out for feast and food. He beat the drum, but instead of food being brought to the house was filled with Egbomen, who beat the tortoise, his wife, and the children badly, as was the drum doing before. At this, the tortoise was very angry and said to himself, I asked everyone to a feast, but only a few came, and they had plenty to eat and drink. Now, when I want food to myself, for myself and my family, the Egbos come and beat me. Well, I will let the other people share the same fate, as I do not see why I and my family should be beaten when I have given a feast to all the people. So till now, children, the tortoise was not able to gather the fact that why was he and his family being beaten by the Egbo men. He said, why these Egbo men have come, and he was actually astonished. So this was all about the story. And now, there's a notice for the children. I hope every child has bought the books from the Universal, because now the Universal and all the shops are open. So I expect everyone to buy the books and go through the chapter once more. I am attaching question answers along with this illustration, and I expect everyone to write it in the fair copies with the heading and the lesson's name. Don't mention the date, children. Write the chapter's name, chapter number, and write question answers, and then write the first question and then ask and whatever is given. So all the best. Stay safe, stay home. Goodbye.